Now, Senator Joe Donnelly joining us live in studio this morning to talk about the issues facing our country as well as here in Indiana. And we want to start with what has become a big talker around here, Senator Donnelly, and that is the carrier's decision to move 1,400 jobs out of our state and down to Mexico. Now, you're planning to meet with carrier executives. What will you touch upon? What do you want to have happen?
Well, I want them to sit down and talk to us about how we can work through this. At least talk to us about working through this, as opposed to just saying we're leaving. Carrier CEO paid himself $10 million last year. They made over $7 billion in profits. Their profits went up almost 20% last year. They have been the benefits of extraordinary success created in large measure by these workers and the ones in Huntington. And all we're saying is, look, sit down. Maybe we can work through this, figure out ways to make the plant more efficient, figure out ways to do a better job here or there, where the small gap in wages will not be enough to move to Mexico. Look, if the company made $7 billion in profits, not sales, but profits, that's a pretty successful formula already.
You know, in a statement, you said Governor Pence is saying, blaming someone else for the decision here, placing blame elsewhere. When it comes to this, when it comes to losing such a huge business here in Indianapolis and in Huntington as well, where do you think the blame lies?
Well, look, this isn't about regulations. The head of Carrier told me the regulations are the same in Mexico as here in the United States. What this is about is chasing after $3 an hour wages in Mexico. That's all, because they're already making extraordinary profits, having phenomenal success. And what we're saying is, look, work with us. We can turn your 7 into $7.2 billion. You know, we can do this together. But this is about chasing the cheapest wages they can find. You know, where this ends is them trying to find somebody who'll work for nothing.
You know, Carrier is not the first business to make this kind of move, moving jobs overseas or out of the country. So how do you ensure, what do we need to do here to make sure that this is not something that other companies here in Indiana do?
Well, what you're actually finding is Carrier right now is an anomaly, that most companies are actually coming back because the quality of products made here is so high, the skill of the workers is so high, that companies are coming back. Some that have been making refrigerators have come back, and similar companies. So what we have to do is we have to have trade laws that work for the United States, and we have to make sure that our workers, our skill levels continue to increase so much that people can't help but hire them.
Senator Donnelly, I want to switch gears and talk about another hot-button issue, and that is the Supreme Court. You've called on the Senate to do their job should President Obama name a nominee, someone he wants to appoint to it. What do you say to those people who say that President Obama should let the next president do so?
Well, the next president can do that when we have a next president.
Right.
And if there's a Supreme Court opening then. We have almost a year left in President Obama's term. The president is constitutionally required to name somebody. He doesn't have a choice. He has a requirement to name somebody. Our job is to review that person, and if we don't find that person acceptable, turn them down, but if we do, to vote yes. We don't have the option to just stick it in a drawer for the next year and pretend it's not there.
Then why are so many lawmakers saying let's ignore what the Constitution is saying and have the president wait, put it off?
Because I guess they feel the timing's inconvenient. Look, you do your job when the opportunity comes up, when you have to do your job, and that's right now. Next year, when there's a new president and that president nominates somebody, I'll vote yes or no on that person as well. But we have almost a year to go in President Obama's term. You simply don't walk away and stop doing your work.
Senator Donnelly, what do you think about President Obama possibly vetting Greencastle, Indiana native judge Jane Kelly for this seat? What are your thoughts on that?
I think from the amount I've read on her already, she's an extraordinary judge. She's done a wonderful job. I think she's on the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, has been very, very thoughtful, has done a terrific job, and so she would be an outstanding candidate. I want to go more into details. There are many others as well, but I think the president's going to nominate someone who's very moderate, very common sense, and then how do you say that someone who's much smarter than me and is as nice as my mom, that you don't want them on the Supreme Court?
Interesting to see what will happen. Senator Donnelly, we thank you for getting up so early and joining us for your perspective here this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right.